been great. I've honestly been surprised how much fun I've been having with this whole process. Being able to kind of just show off my skills a little bit, my athleticism, just being able to talk football with some of the top minds in the game. So this has definitely been fun for me.
What teams have you talked to the most so far in the process?
The most, I'll probably say the Jaguars are up there, Giants, Jets, I talked to the Browns a lot, Panthers, so I talked to a lot of teams, a lot of different football minds.
How much did 17, 18-year-old Icky think about this day?
I mean, obviously I want to be in this position. I watched the combine, I've been watching pro days, watched the draft every year since I can remember. So the fact that I'm that much closer to my dream, that much closer, the fact that I'm in this position, it's a dream come true.
What kind of strides have you made since Providence Day?
Definitely been showing up my flexibility, like as a football player, my mobility, flexibility, my technique, more than anything, I feel like has improved so much over the last 3 years. Since Providence Day, maybe a little better time management as well, off the field, but I feel like my technique and my flexibility and my, just making sure I become the best athlete I can be. I feel like I've grown so much here at NC State.
It's so rare for an offensive lineman to step in right away, like Tony Adams did it. You have done it. What was it about it to be able to come to NC State and get going right away?
Well, first of all, it goes out, shout out to Coach Thunder. I only had about 2 months with him before camp started, so just getting my body right. He broke down all my form all the way down to the bar and built me back up in the weight room. So I appreciate him for that, making sure my conditioning was right. So shout out to him. This 2 months is a long period of time, to get someone ready for football. So that was the biggest thing for me. And I always kind of just had that mindset to me where, whoever's in front of me, I just want to bury him. I just want to, dominate. That's always been the mindset I've had. Every time I got to do a job, I want to do it to the fullest of my ability. So I feel like that, coupled with the development I got in the weight room, helped a lot.
How much do you feel like you've developed your body physically since you've been at NC State as well?
Yeah, I've developed a lot. When I did my first weigh-in, I was around 308, my first weigh-in, but I was like almost 30% body fat. And I was also real stiff. I didn't really have a lot of mobility. My ankles, my knees, hips especially. So that was something I really wanted to focus on going into the off-season. Pre-2020 season was working on my flexibility, doing ankle cars, shoulder cars, making sure I got my hips and my knees right so I could be, a better athlete on the field. So that leap from 2019 to 2020, flexibility rise. And then, with COVID, it kind of messed it up a little bit. I didn't have access to all the facilities that we have here, but that was a big leap for me. And then from 2020 to 2021, the biggest leap was probably my technique as well as my mobility, keeping, staying on that, making sure I come in before, after practice or before, after workouts, making sure I stay fresh.
There have been some, I'm not saying this, but some people have said, maybe they could see you moving inside the guard or even playing, potentially like the Texans, for instance, have Tunsil there at left tackle. Mm-hmm. Have you talked with any teams about playing somewhere other than left tackle, or have you even said, I'm a left tackle, that's where I play?
Yeah, a couple of teams, have talked about it, asked me where I see myself at. And I always tell them I see myself as a left tackle. I feel like I've been playing left tackle the last couple of years. I feel like I'm just barely scratching the surface of my potential at left tackle. But I tell them again, I've always been a team player. Wherever coaches needed me to play, wherever the coaches and the scouts and everywhere needs me to play, they feel like, we can win the most games. I'm going to play that. I'm not going to complain. That's what I'm getting paid to do, be the best player I can be for that team. So that's what I'm going to be.
What former teammates have you kind of talked to, get advice from, the Joe Toonies of the world or Bradley Chubbs or anybody like that?
Yeah, I've had a conversation with Joe Tooney, just lineman to lineman. That's been great for me. Most recently, my former roommate, actually, Lee McNeil, he was through this whole process just a year ago. So kind of just hearing, some of the things that he talked about going through this process, some of the things he talked about during his rookie year as well, has helped me a lot, just mentally, just being prepared for, whatever challenges I have ahead.
What is the role that your family has played? It sounds like you got an eclectic group. I know your fraternal twin brother obviously went to Notre Dame for football, but what's that been like for you?
Yeah, it's been great. I've always had a lot of support from my family. We're all very passionate about different things. Me and my brother is football. My older sister is medicine, medical school. My older brother is being an animator, graphic design, things like that. Very artistic. So we all have our passions in the family, and we're always, free to pursue our passions as long as the grades are good. That was always the only stipulation was that we had good grades. And so having that support, since I was such a kid, having my family be able to see me grow up in the sport, it's meant a lot to me.
What was it like experiencing sort of, and it happened during the season and then a lot, in this process too, like seeing your name move from maybe, late first round all the way to the top 5 in these mock drafts? Is it difficult to kind of, to keep blinders on, or do you read those? How,
Well, honestly, the whole season I didn't read a single mock draft.
Okay.
I mean, first of all, there was just so much, insecurity. I guess we weren't even sure what the draft order was going to be, and they had me mocked somewhere. So like I just put that to the side. Put all my energy into playing. My 2021 season. That's what my mindset was. But post draft, I try not to think too much about it because at the end of the day, a lot can change. Even on draft day, we have trades, everything going on. So as long as I put the work in and focus on being the best player, the smartest player I can be, the most physically, gifted player I can be, I feel like a lot of good things will happen for me.
Does the idea of going #1 overall matter to you? Is that something that you would, it would be a big deal if it happened?
Legacy-wise, history-wise, I know when we had, I think, maybe 2, I believe, NC State first overall picks. So just
Brother
having
Gabriel and Mario.
Yeah, Mario. So the fact that I'd be in that NC State history book, for that reason, would mean the world to me. That mean a lot to me. But at this point, we're just ready to be on a team, just get ready to play some football. That's really my main focus right now.
Did you have any thought at all about coming back? Because so many of these guys did come back, and I think the fan base generally was like, he's not going to, nor should he. But I'm just curious if you had any internal debate about it.
Yeah, something that I came into state really wanted to do was leave a mark on NC State, leave a legacy here. I wanted the Ekwonu name to have a lot of meaning, have a lot of weight here at NC State. So that was really the main thing that was kind of would have held me back, was making sure that I really left my mark on the program. And I feel like I've done that. So that was really the main thing that I was thinking of when it was time to make my decision. Was that I do enough to really make sure that the Ekwonu name holds name here.
Yeah, along those lines with the legacy, I've talked to guys like David Sanders and Jordan Shipp and, the next group of guys. They all look up to you. What is it like being a role model for the next generation of players at NC State and at Providence Day?
Yeah, it's great. I remember when I was in high school having role models I looked up to, the biggest one being my former left tackle, Eric Cal. He went on to play at Navy. So the fact that I'm in that position, just 3 short years later, it's a little, crazy to me a little bit, but I just try and be the best role model I can, to those guys. Got to always shout out Providence Day School, that's my home, so I got to always make sure that those guys are always good. And I know David, Jordan, they're going to be great. I can already feel it.
You like to? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Any advice for the McKays and the Bryson Spees of the world?
I mean, shit. They tease me things. They tease me things. Speeds, McKay. We always kind of just bounce technique off each other. We're always talking in the offensive line room. That's one of the reasons why I feel like we've had success in that room, is because we all connect, we all gel really well, and we've never been shy to criticize each other and shy to get on each other when it's time to work. And so I feel like if I had any advice, I guess it's keep working. I mean, they all have the tools, all doing the things that they need to do. It's just timing. It's always sometimes the timing isn't yours, and so I'm really excited to see Speeds and Tim McKay, the whole offensive line work this year.
Iki, Ellis Williams, Charles Observer. First, it's nice to meet you. I got over here a little late, so apologies if you already answered this, but could you just explain your reasoning for not working today?
Not working out today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked out at the combine. I did all the running and the drills there, position work. The only thing I didn't do at the combine was bench, and so I feel like I wanted to kind of finish my whole assessment, my finishing up and benching here. But I feel like I put everything out there that I need to put out there. I have 3 years worth of film out there, so I feel like the evaluators have enough on me.
How many reps did you do?
I got 26. Yeah, so I was aiming for mid-20s, so I'm proud of that number. I feel like I've done everything I feel like I needed to do. And now I'm just really focused on working out whatever team winds up picking me and making sure I'm in the best shape I can be.
Makes sense. So, what's the next month look like for you? I mean, you've gone from combine to now pro day. What is this next month going to look like?
So I'm kind of back and forth. I have a couple of visits set up throughout April for different teams, and so I'll be traveling to and back from teams. Be back in Charlotte for a little bit, seeing family, back up here for the spring game. So I'll kind of be all over the place, but a lot of traveling, a lot of talking football, which I'm excited for.
You going to go to the draft?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be in Vegas. First time ever in Las Vegas.
Really?
That'll be fun. I got my whole family there in the green room with me, so I'm excited for that.
Were you able to meet with the Panthers at the combine at all?
Yeah, I did.
How'd that go?
Yeah, I think it went well. I think when Grant got to meet Coach Rule, Coach McAdoo, yeah, I feel like it went well.
Was that your first time meeting those guys?
In person? Yes, it was.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. How does those conversations change from your first time meeting some of them, whether it's on Zoom, to being in person?
I feel like it's similar questions, similar things, but it's just nice to be having that face to face, because I feel like on Zoom, having that screen, it kind of just negates a little bit of the connectedness and a little bit of the personability, of those interviews. So the fact that I was in that room with everybody face to face, I feel like that just, meant a little bit more.
Any plans to have an in-person visit with the Panthers?
Yeah,
before the draft?
I will. Yes, sir.
Good, thank you.
No problem.
Did you curse in an interview?
I did.
So it was like